And we are live.
I will welcome the February 12th meeting of Riley County Commissioners. Please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Arrangement. I showered today. I don't know what to deal with this. Any public comment? Anyone? If not, we'll go to commission comments. Catherine, do you have anything?
Not really.
Okay.
I've just been home recuperating, and it's been kind of a tough week, but I think I should be on the mend. Got my first PT out of the house today, so hopefully that'll go well.
Good.
That's about all I've got.
Okay, John.
I have quite a bit, but I'm gonna defer. I've got all my comments and stuff typed, and Cindy's got them. So just in an urge of trying to save time and get to business this morning. I'm in an unstable area, and I'm trying to do about 3 different things here. So congratulations to the Chiefs is what I'm going to say. I'm still kind of recovering this morning. What a game. Whew, what a game. So that's my comments this morning. So.
All right. Now for mine, last Thursday after the meeting, I worked up in the extension office, helping with some Master Gardener stuff. Saturday morning, I attended the Riley County Republicans Lincoln breakfast. Had a couple of people there speaking from the AG's office, and the main speaker was the state representative on the RNC committee. He had a lot of interesting information. Saturday afternoon, K-State women's basketball, they pulled out another close one. With Lee supposed to be returning, I'm hoping they'll be getting ready for a good late season run. K-State men had a late game, charged at the end of the game, but couldn't quite pull it out. And then I heard there was a football game yesterday sometime. That we can go on to meeting.
Ready for business?
Yeah.
First item we have, need a motion for the tax roll corrections.
I can go ahead and make a motion to approve the tax roll corrections.
I'll second. Been moved and seconded to approve the tax roll corrections as presented. All in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Please sign.
That
It is pretty thick stuff.
time.
'Tis the season.
I didn't plan that one, by the way.
You. Next, Riley County Employee Action Form for Dale Moldering, as needed museum assistant, separation of service. Please sign. Thank you. Next, commissioners, I have an addition to the business meeting. It's a real estate contract for the purchase of real estate from the East Stanley Shirley Trust. We need a motion on that for the board to sign.
I can go ahead and make a motion to sign the real estate contract for the Shirley Trust.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the contract with Shirley Trust. All in favor?
Aye.
Catherine, if you're available, what time this afternoon are you available? I'll run this out to you.
Let's see, I have, let me see, I have IT at noon out of the house, so, either before that, or let's see, that'll be about, an hour, I should be back here by 1:30.
I could also bring this out to you this morning if you'd rather.
Yeah, that's fine too. I won't leave until, 10 minutes till noon, so.
Okay, well, I'll just plan on doing that if that's okay with you. I'll call you first.
Okay, that's great, thanks.
Thank you. John, I'm not running yours to you.
Oh, I was going to ask you. You're more than welcome to run it to me. I'll even make time for you.
No, thanks.
Yeah, well, this has been a long time coming, guys, and this is a great deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree 100% with that.
We won't have to do eminent domain, which I think is a good thing for everybody.
I agree 100% there too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's just all put all of our positive energy into the grants going through.
Yeah.
And on that subject of grants, I've got 3 meetings back to back up on Capitol Hill today with all of our congressional staff here. So, and that's on my list of agenda items to discuss.
Okay, good deal.
Great.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, I've got my fingers crossed, and I've got my other fingers crossed for Ogden. So those are my 2.
Any changes to the minutes, commissioners?
I didn't have anything.
I didn't.
I did. Okay. I can go ahead and make a motion then to approve the minutes from the February 8th meeting of the Bradley County Commission as written.
I would second that.
Been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the February 8th meeting as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Tentative agendas look okay, commissioners? Any items for next week's press conference?
Well, I am hoping to be there in person. It depends on whether I can drive or not, or get a ride, so.
Okay.
Good. Okay, sounds good. Okay, next, commissioners, I am up at 9 o'clock. Have a bit of break.
Sure.
And this was that's, yes, I didn't sign the parts where some of the sheets were just forward.
Okay, yep.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah.
On the tentative agendas, I don't know if you guys want to have me do a full summary of the conference or not for press conference. If so, I will. If not, no problem.
We can add you.
Okay. I'll get with you on some details and logistics on that on Thursday then, Rich.
Yep, we'll put it on next week's press conference.
Sounds good.
What's the name of the conference you're at, John?
National Association of Counties Legislative Conference.
Thank you.
Yeah. And if you're looking on the screen, I'm moving around up and down and around on stairs to try to keep a stable connection. So that's why it looks weird.
You have your video off. It's just a blank screen.
Oh, okay. But you can hear me then, so that's good. We might just leave it that way then.
Yeah.
Trace, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Tired after last night.
Yeah.
Kind of hoping you guys would talk more football this morning, give me time to get here. John had other plans. So. How's everything with you?
Same, I'm gonna be tired all day too because of that game, but at least because I had to stay up that late, they won, so.
Yeah.
One that been even more painful.
It's been worse, yeah.
Yeah. When I stopped. When I stopped San Francisco for a field goal, I went, we're dead, you know. Mahomes isn't gonna let us stop. He's gonna get it fixed.
What was key was that extra point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We lost in regulation.
Yep.
Brittany says the key was Taylor was.
I would not have said that.
And he hadn't missed one all year.
Oh, yeah. Well, I got blocked. They got blocked and they said, well, Butker's, his long one, they said barely cleared the line. They said there was some, and I didn't see the replay. I was reading. They said they had some hands up, but just missed it.
Yeah. I didn't realize their history was that they've been so good at batting and kicks down until, because I hadn't followed them close this season. But I felt so bad that a guy had torn Achilles running onto the field.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that's a heartbreaking thing.
Yeah.
That was brutal.
At least it doesn't necessarily have to be career ending like it used to be, but it'll be a long recovery.
Well, Achilles was long recovery.
Yeah, those were bad.
But it's amazing they could even do it. Because after one of those years ago, there's no way.
Use your microwave? Yeah. That was interesting.
That sounds like something I do. Running on that field and breaking.
Yeah, exactly. You finally get it to run. He was going back in. It wasn't like he hadn't been.
Yeah, I mean, well, and he wasn't just a part-time.
No.
He was just,
Then the other guy knows, because some guy they thought had a hamstring pull, but did that turn out to be a hamstring pull? Do you know?
one of the guys that left, they ended up bringing him back out. Thought it's funny when Snyder first started, you know, he was very secretive, but the player got injured, they bring over and they'd always have people standing around him so you couldn't see him. Now they have a tent, they put everybody in, everybody's figuring out, yeah, you don't want to show them what parts.
I saw the blue tent go over
Yeah.
one guy. Yeah. It looked kind of strange because I can't remember what injury he had, but he was kind of favoring it. And then this blue shroud goes over it.
Yeah, it was a big deal when Snyder tried to keep the cameras from looking in. Now it's taken for granted. You go hide them because you don't want to.
I think it's funny, they still cover the maps with everything that coaches do on the side. And I saw one of them, he blocked a player who was saying something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was interesting. The weird, one of the stranger things was that deal with Kelsey and going over and bumping and shaving. What in the world? That was just a timing thing.
That's
Got
funny.
to make sense to that.
He was on, I kept turning over to, I didn't go to sleep. I said, like, I think it was on Sports Center, that NFL thing on Sports Center. They talked to Kelsey about it. He goes, I'm just running over to tell him how much I appreciate a good coach he is.
Yeah, that's the way it looked.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Well, it did look like it was just a timing thing.
Yeah, he just said.
It's not insane.
And Andy Reid commented on it. He said
Yeah, he said.
it's not a big deal. He just
Didn't bother
was
him.
ready to go in and
I'm sure with his, he could care less.
yeah.
As long as he was a superstar, he wouldn't care. Yeah, if it was, I don't care how good he was, if he's the kicker, I still think they're thought of as different human beings. No matter how good you are, you're still just the kicker.
It was good to
Wouldn't
see
care.
Felix.
He got in.
Got a big, well, I guess what a sack, we'll run back with it. Tackle for a big loss.
Yeah, I thought I didn't like the looks. Vivian and I were talking of the Kelsey Reed interaction, but you know, from his standpoint, Reed, he's been in it long enough, and as a head coach, I mean, do you want someone on your team that's that passionate and that bought in and wants to, you know, do everything he can, or do you want someone that really doesn't care?
Yeah.
You know, and so.
Yeah,
Like I said,
he's saying everything.
Kelsey had something to speak to the whole team.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was fired up.
And Jones did that too to the defense on the sideline.
Yeah,
You
on the
see
side,
that? He called them all in and said, I mean, how did San Francisco get loaded on defensive end with Young and Bosa? Those two are animals. I'd like to have one of them. Or both of them.
McCaffrey.
I got a question for somebody here. Help me out. Who's the anchor guy on CNN? What's his name?
I don't know.
I don't want to see.
Which one?
Don't know.
Couldn't tell you. Why is he doing a great job?
No, I guess he's speaking here currently.
No.
I recognize him, but I don't know his name.
No.
Is it somebody from years past?
No, it's currently. I just can't remember his name.
And couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that McCaffrey, that guy's good.
Yeah, okay. And that's what I mean, I remember him in college at Stanford, he run and catch and everything. And then hadn't heard from him, although I looked up, I guess he got injured he was in Carolina. He got injured a few years, only played like 5 games 1 year.
Oh, really?
It's another, he had a couple good years, but again, it's Carolina and they aren't doing anything and
Mhm.
didn't ever hear them. Because I always thought in college, I thought that's the guy you want. He's tough.
Yeah, I read something. They say, even at this level, when everyone else is gone, he's out there practicing. He's out there working extra. He's that kind of guy. I'll bet he woke up pretty sore today.
He took some hits.
There was one time on the sideline, I saw him and his expression on his face
Oh,
looked
yeah.
like he wasn't giving up, but boy, you could tell it was wearing on him.
Yeah, what was the thing for eminent domain?
It's just a sale contract for purchase of some property out by Keats for a lagoon project. We've been ongoing discussions with trying to find property.
But it wasn't purchased through eminent domain.
Exactly. There was no
What?
eminent domain.
It was not eminent
That's the-
domain. It was a willing seller,
Yeah.
seller.
But this is not eminent domain.
Okay.
Just when he started out that way, I thought we need to clarify.
No, that's a key, that's a key part.
Yeah.
That's key. That's why the board is enthusiastic about signing it.
Because now we don't have to, we didn't want to do it. That was eminent domain and
That was
we don't have
just
to.
last ditch effort.
I'll make sure we get it.
No, that was an addition. We
That was
just
an
got the
addition.
Contract.
Oh.
I honestly do not know, and it's an option contract, so the attorney who negotiated it is not available. They're at CLE, so out of the town stuff. But you can get it, I'll get you a copy of it once it's signed there. You really need to just refer to it and be able to talk with the deputy and councilor Shelley Wood. She negotiated it, and she could talk to you. Might be able to reach her today during the break and see how they I'll get your number if you. Yeah. She could talk more knowledgeably about the details of the game. Yeah, a business card or something you can use. You just give me a comment, or text it to me or something. You're on YouTube. That's it.
I have a paper.
Yeah, we also have available the old school. I can write it in, but I wouldn't announce it unless you want to get all kinds of interesting phone calls.
What are we now all gonna do without our daily update on Travis and Taylor?
Yeah.
Just come to me.
You thought there was no answer.
You watch Entertainment Daily now on TV at 3 o'clock or 3:30 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's probably.
Do you want factual information or?
Yeah.
Oh, none of that stuff actually applies. Come on now.
It's true. We'll be dragging the facts into this.
One of Jan's, that's cousin's husband went and took sons and one of his granddaughters to Vegas.
That's a costly adventure.
Well, I'm sure. Of course, then her other cousins, other cousin and her daughter and all them were at the game because her son-in-law is the coach of the Chiefs, the defensive coach.
No, Clark Hunt's sister lives here in town.
Oh,
Was
really?
married to another guy. Roger Hammerschmidt.
Mhm.
Here in town. Yeah, Roger and his wife are in the box seats at the Chiefs games all the time.
That's a Brendan. They had an article in the Kansas City paper out. He's been to like 10 straight Super Bowls, but before he was with Kansas City, he was in the main.
Mm-hmm.
This is
That'd be the two top teams to get you there.
This is his fifth Super Bowl win.
And what role does he have?
He's on defense. He was defensive line. He switched to something else because he's been asked to move around and he interviewed for the coordinator position. Didn't get it this year, this these weeks, I guess. Because he bounced, like any other,
Yeah.
he bounced, started at college, bounced around, got to pros. He was in St. Louis and then in Minnesota. Then he got on at New England under Spagnuolo and stayed there for several years. And then when he came, he obviously wanted to move back. His wife's from Kansas City. And,
Got a bunch of rings.
Well, Spagnola sent the house at just the right time on that last play.
yep.
Yeah, I told my wife multiple times early in the year and halfway through the season, I said, there's no way this Chiefs team, you don't gotta worry about going to Super Bowl this year.
It didn't look like it. Got
And then they have
got it together when it
winning the dang thing.
when the chips are down. We're gonna.
I guess so. That's
Surprise. And did you after the game there? Kelsey was up there on the podium. Oh, next we got a 3-peat. We got to do. What we send that for? We'll do a 3-peat. Sure.
Yeah, that's definitely some incentive. Never been done before. I think they need to get some more weapons if they're gonna make it.
But the defense, but defensive backs, a lot of those young guys, they were well, they pulled up with change, but the running back was a late draft pick, Of course, Purdy was the.
I think that's a great story. I'm really a fan of that guy's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still lives with a roommate. Still lives with a roommate.
He's
Still
making minimums.
rock parties. Still lives with a roommate. Still drives the same college car he had.
That's an Iowa State guy.
Mhm.
Didn't sound too grounded.
Well, they were saying because, look at the contracts, that amendments in there for 3 or 4 years that they've got money to spend on other positions now.
Mm-hmm.
You think they kind of bump him up, but
they'll
Want to keep him, you better.
Yeah.
They'll treat him right.
He's worth a lot of money right now.
Mhm.
You got toe to toe with Patrick Mahomes, 4 quarters.
And he stayed.
4.5 quarters.
And he was like calm and focused.
Yeah.
Yeah, he never looked rattled.
What scared me is they've come back and won many games being from behind all season. That's kind of his MO. And so I thought,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take 2 Big 12 quarterbacks.
Sure. It's amazing. Like I said, you know,
Purdy
always,
was more successful in college than
mhm,
Mahomes was.
always cool, calm, and collected. And, you know, you look at him and you wouldn't think he's an NFL quarterback. And I even saw him interview one of his receivers. Said, "What do you think about Purdy?" He says, "Well, you know, when you see him," and he didn't take it farther, but he says, "You know, the guy just performs. He just steps up." There's no denying he is good.
On the same this morning,
Huh?
this morning it said Wednesday will be the big parade.
That's what I figured.
Down Wednesday, Ash Wednesday, and Chiefs parade.
Oh, what a day.
Yeah.
Well, definitely a good day to wear red, either way.
Right, yeah. You get the updates from Mike Taylor. Yeah, KCA Lockens.
I did something just come in this morning, or was it?
No, this was Friday. You got one. He was talking about that legislation that banned lobbyists.
Oh, yeah. What do the lobbyists have to say about
He's so understated. Talking about his thing, big letter, shut up.
Yeah.
That's Kansas legislature, so want to hear from you.
That's kind of,
He's,
I told him, I saw him up there when we went up there last time, ran into him and talked to him. I said, "I appreciate your style."
yeah, he's very subtle.
There's no doubt where you stand on it. It's actually I think it's kind of refreshing.
I can appreciate that.
Everybody knows what position he's taking. He's not afraid to argue in front of the committees. If you're willing to do that, as long as they know.
That's one discussion I think once that I didn't want to read some of the stuff that listen, you know, he's and he had his reasons. I didn't agree with him.
Yeah. It's interesting. But they tend to be, you know, as a group, they tend to be more diplomatic. Because they have to be. Particularly, they represent a very diverse client base. Because half the positions they take are against some of what they're.
Like I said, I represent Johnson County and Rawlins County at the same time.
Yeah.
I guess he's KCCA. I thought he was KCC, Kansas County Commissioners Association. All right.
Great, Commissioners.
Yeah.
First report we have is the 2024 year-to-date wage and overtime compared to budget report. You can see in the upper right-hand corner, we're at 8.33% point in time of the year. That's just what we use as our barometer for the budgets, fiscally where they're at, comparatively percentage-wise. You can see all the departments there are doing very good early in the year. It is very early in the year, though, must emphasize. So like to look at the overtime column there in the center to see where we're at overall in overtime, and we're doing well there. It's currently at 0.52, so that is good. So what can impact that greatly, of course, is winter storms, and that winter storm will be in there. at some point in time, and that'll have an impact, but usually it balances out by the end of the year, but that will be a good percentage increase early in the year, and we may have another one at the end of this
Yeah.
year, so we'll see. It may wind up not being a great year for that, but too early to tell. Are there any questions on that first report, commissioners? Next report's a little more detailed breakdown by department for regular salary, seasonal, and overtime. Just way to get more detail. If you have any questions on any of those, like I say, there's not a whole lot there right now since it is so early in the year. Next report is 2024 year-to-date budget activity report. That 8.3% point time a year. Those that are highlighted in the blue have it currently above that, which is just, especially this early in the year, just a little flag for us to keep an eye on those to be sure that by the end of the year, everything is lined out to the departments and the budgets that are currently above the percentage point time of the year. Budget appropriations, of course, is high because we do about 50% of that early in the year, and then second half of the year in July, we do the second 50%. So it should balance out by the end of the year. Always like to point out 2-3 lines down from that last blue line there. Atypically low amount at 0.88% in county general. Remember, that's where we keep the budget stabilization fund, so that generally is atypically lower than most of the other departments. Any questions on that first page, commissioners?
Yep.
Next report, 2024 year-to-date budget activity report. Bless you. You can see highlighted in the blue is the community corrections, and you see all those respective departments between that and capital improvements. Those are all various funds that used to be within the community corrections and budgeted in that overall 1.25 million. The state now wants those broken out, so that's why you see zeros in those. We will be redistributing that amount per each program to where next month it'll look more correct. We will have to do a budget amendment for all of those at the end of the year because last year we did not budget for them like they wanted now.
Yeah, now we got all.
So we will get all that correct and it'll make more sense next cycle. Economic development, once again, a lot of those we pay appropriations out of. That's why it's atypically higher. Emergency 911, their bills are cyclical, and then RCPD operations, of course, the large budget appropriation that we send to them is why that one's higher than the 8.3%. All those should budget out by the end of the year, but of course, if any of them do not, we will do a budget amendment at the end of the year. Any questions on those, commissioners? Next page, all of these are enterprise funds. An enterprise fund is a fund that derives all of its revenue sources from either taxpayers living in or owning property in the district. So there are no ad valorem taxes that are used in any of these funds. All of them currently, of course, as you can see, very early in the year, very minimal expenditures only in one of them.
Except the total, is the total not right?
Total. Let me see.
That's including the enterprise funds and the funds above it.
Oh, that total, oh, okay.
Any other questions, commissioners? Okay, next report, just a little bit more detailed breakout comparatively between 2023 and 2024 expenditures. The report that commissioners asked for, just kind of a snapshot to see where departments are respectively for month to month, and then also year to date through that month for the various departments. Of course, as you know, it's not always an apples to apples comparison, but it gives you a little snapshot where if you look through there and have any questions, we could do some more detailed research for you on why there's a difference between one year and another. Any questions on any of those, commissioners? Next report is just a more detailed breakout of the county general that I pointed out that's atypically low at the 0.88% budget spent. Of course, remember, the majority reason for that is the miscellaneous budget stabilization amount of $4 million in there. And of course, it's early in the year. The personnel is also like to remind commissioners and the public, no personnel get paid hourly or weekly salary out of this. It's just for separation of service. That's what those funds are for. And of course, that's always just our best guesstimate. based on previous years and also knowledge of anyone that's told us they are going to retire, but then once again, not everyone always tells us they're going to retire. Any questions on that page, commissioners? Next report is 2024 year-to-date expenses paid by Riley County for law enforcement services. Of course, as the commissioners know, we're responsible for all buildings and maintenance at 100% and all inmate medical related expenditures 100%. No other public entity helps with those expenses, and then you see the large budget appropriation amount there at the bottom. Early in the year, once again. So not a whole lot of activity. I like this next report. It gives a good snapshot comparatively to the previous years through 2020. As you know, inmate medical and physician have been high the last few years due to population that we've had in the facility. That's something we keep a close eye on. Building maintenance can get high from time to time as well. And then, of course, the largest one at the bottom is the budget appropriation amount, which we're statutory obligated to all of these expenditures. Any questions on that page? Next report's offsite inmate medical expenses paid by Advanced Correctional Healthcare. This is our third-party vendor that we contract with to provide those services with full-time nurse and also other medical services that are provided to inmates. You can see the county inmate ADP 104. So we're high right now. That has a big determining factor, of course, on the level that our costs are from month to month. Any questions on that? Very early in the year, so not a lot of activity to look at like the previous months. Commissioners, you go through those and have any additional questions, call or email. We'll be glad to get those for you. Any questions? Okay, next we'll be up to request to fill a part-time HR assistant position. Thank you. Ready, commissioners? First item, this next item is a request to fill as needed HR clerical assistant position. It will become vacant February 21st. This position is necessary. This position really does do a lot, as you know, the positions that become open and the contact and scheduling for interviews. It's we could not do without this position anymore. We relied on it so much. So it is that critical of a position. I know sometimes people think of as needed or part-time as maybe you can do, maybe without. They're a critical part of our operation, really, because the HR staff has plenty of work to do for sure. And that stuff takes a lot of time, reaching out to people, contacting, scheduling with department heads, scheduling with administrative assistants and offices. So it is definitely a heavily used position. So we would like to ask the board to approve us to fill this position.
Well, I'd move to approve hiring process to fill the part-time HR clerical assistant position.
I would second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the hiring process for the HR clerical assistant. All in favor? Aye.
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 Thank you, commissioners. Next you have Catherine Hensler at 9:15.
Thank you,
If I'm,
Commissioner.
Yeah, go ahead.
if I'm looking at the agenda, right, that was the last of the business items, correct?
Yeah, the rest are just reports, John, and press conference reports. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna hop off of here. When Diane and Nathan comes in, tell them congratulations and tell them that I'm very, very appreciative of their work and efforts on our planning board for as long as they've served. And I'm gonna hop off of here.
Yeah,
And
thank
I'll
you.
see everybody on Thursday in person.
You.
Almost left without my laptop.
It is quiet, isn't it? Now we know who the noisy ones are, huh?
Well, that's
Say, you know.
Recovering from the big game, maybe.
Yeah. Okay, Councilman.
All right, good morning. Catherine Hensler, Museum Director. I'm here with our monthly staff update. First, want to talk about visitation and tours. And the chart that I've included in my report here notes January 2024 as compared to January 2023, a year ago. And you will see overall, for the most part, our attendance at the museums and the historic sites are a little bit lower, with the exception of the Wolf House, but in programs and outreach, we've had a significant increase in attendance. So overall, the monthly total for this year of January is 429 guests, and last year was 397. So a pretty significant jump up for us. And one of the reasons for that is in our programs and outreach, we did a lot for Kansas State this year. I will say our Kansas State attendance at the museum was very low because of those darn Chiefs. They announced their games at 2:00 right when we were starting Kansas State. And for a planning process, we usually announce our dates about 2 months in advance just to get on calendars. So we thought about changing, but we proceeded on. So we had low attendance at the museum. However, the following few days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of that next week, we went out and did quite a few programmings at schools. We went out to the Randolph Community Center and just made appearances around our community to talk about Kansas's history. So that helped out greatly with our outreach and attendance. For volunteer hours, this year, January 2024, we have 134.5 volunteer hours. And then the year previous in 2023, January, we had just about 101. So also a good uptick. And one of the reasons for that was our Riley County Historical Society Board of Directors put a lot of effort into 2 different projects. One being the first members opening that they have ever held at the Wolf House with a new exhibit opening that took place on January 19th. And then also their committee for strategic planning and organizational development is kicking into gear, and they worked really hard on putting an RFP together, which I'll talk about a little bit later in my report. So overall, January, good numbers. When looking at education and outreach, I'll just quickly go through some of the things we did this past month. On the 19th, as I mentioned, on the 19th, we did help install an exhibit over at the Flint Hills Discovery Center. It's just a small little supplementary exhibit to their larger one, which is called Atomic Edison Secret Lab. We loaned and put on exhibit a Thomas Edison phonograph from the early 1900s. And so that little bit of history is in their second floor lobby. So if you'd like to see it, you're welcome to. I will note that the Discovery Center does have an admission fee. Also on that same day, January 19th, like I had mentioned, the Historical Society hosted their first members exclusive exhibit opening. And that was for the new exhibit that was going to open the following day to the public called Forget Me Not Funerals in Victorian era Riley County. That exhibit is now open. It'll be open until May 26th. It is always Wolf House Museum is always open to the public, free admission, and the hours are Saturdays and Sundays from 2 to 5. And like I mentioned, January 28th, 29th, and 30th was very busy with Kansas State activities. We had the open house. We presented at Bluemont Elementary, Randolph Community Center, and the World Friendship Group. Altogether, we provided Kansas State programming for 160 individuals, which range from 3 years to 102. And a 102-year-old just about won a Kansas trivia that we took up to Randolph Community Center. So it was neat to see the age range of people engaged in learning about Kansas history. In the month of January, Curator Highsmith and I both worked with the City of Manhattan Parks and Recs Department to assist in creating content for their new sculpture unveiling that's scheduled for February the 20th. That content will be included in part, if not in full, with the accompanying plaques that are going to be installed with those sculptures. If you don't have that date on your calendar, I would invite you to join them. It is going to be at the Douglas Center and the Douglas Community. Well, even said your way too often. Douglas School and the Douglas Community Center. So it'll be between those 2 historic buildings. There will be a sculpture at both of them. Normally I report on collections. The statistics had not been received by the time of this report. So I'll just include them in next month's report. So we move forward. With archives and library, Curator Glasgow managed 12 new incoming patron requests from the public and 3 from internal sources in the month of January. There were 2 appointments made to use the research library and 1 walk-in patron. Glasgow continues to follow up on outstanding requests submitted previously, and also she is working very hard to declutter that library space and get us reorganized. As far as building and grounds, I will just note, we are still actively cleaning up the workroom and the storage space. There is currently a roll-off dumpster in the back of the museum. Again, this is not collection items. These are true clutter, excess reams of paper, books, binders. Lots of stuff that has been accumulated for the last 40 years. In the realm of staffing, we have 3 new as-needed museum assistants begin in the month of January. 3 are Brantley Schiermeyer, Holly Hill, and Sydney Wolgast. We welcome them. Already they've hit the ground running and have added some great assistance at the museum. We have also unfortunately received the resignation of another as-needed museum assistant. This is Dale Mulderry. He's been with us for almost 5.5 years. At this time, because we have these new staff members who have a lot more availability than some of the previous incumbents who were in those positions, we are gonna hold off from hiring for the LC position. So we will play that by ear and revisit it as we go through, but for now, we're not looking to hire that staff position. I would also like to welcome the 2 new Riley County Historical Museum trustees who have been appointed, Katie Persley from District 1 and Kevin Larson from District 2. We are also still seeking to fill that final vacancy in District 3. So we have reached out to a few folks and just waiting for applications. Like I mentioned, we welcome those new trustees and thank them. And we also want to thank our current trustees for their support and service. One of the big things that's keeping us busy right now is the National Park Service is issuing revisions with the Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. We know that it's NAGPRA. They went into effect on January 12th of this year, and the revisions have just broadened the range of criteria concerning what constitutes as a sacred object. We have followed NAGPRA regulations since they were enacted, and we've taken action in 2008, 2010, and 2013 to notify tribal councils of any of the artifacts or objects that we have in our possession. We will be acting proactively on these revisions, and we are under the advisement right now of Kansas Historical Society, as well as K-State's Anthropology and Archaeology Department, Kansas Museums Association. And then I just recently sent this information to our county council. So we are working in collaboration with a number of different groups just to make sure that we are fulfilling our federal legal obligation. However, I'll be reporting on this probably the next few months, because this will take some time. It will involve a lot of research and learning in regards to our team. And then we'll also be bringing this up to our Historical Society's Collections Committee in their upcoming meeting, which I believe will be on the 21st of this month. In reference to the Historical Society, their longtime bookkeeper for the society, her name is Barbara Poresti. She has had to retire from this role recently. We do have a new bookkeeper coming on board. She will begin tomorrow, and her name is Carol Revere. She's been involved with the DAR and the Genealogical Society, has been a member of the society. So we're happy to welcome her, and hopefully that will take a few additional tasks off my staff of things to do. But we are very excited for her to begin. And like I mentioned earlier, the society has announced their request for proposals for a contract, organizational and strategic planner for their nonprofit organization. They will begin reviewing proposals on March 1st. If anyone is interested in that RFP, just to look at the details, it is on their website, which is www.rileynhs.org. And then just real quickly, we do have a few upcoming events. Tomorrow evening, we'll have our fireside chat. We are kicking those back into gear. They're always the second Tuesday of each month, 5:30 p.m. to 7. Flavor and Coffee this month will be Love and Marriage on the Prairie. And then on the 14th, the Historical Society will have their monthly board meeting at 3:30 at the Dallas Gallery. On February 20th, also like I mentioned a little bit earlier, the unveiling of the new sculptures at the Douglas Community Center at the Douglas School, that will occur at 10 a.m. That is open to the public as well, also free. And then ongoing, we do have the Forget Me Not Funerals in Victoria and Riley County exhibit running until May 26th. This is at the Wolf House, and they're open Saturdays and Sundays from 2 to 5 or 5, and always free admission. That concludes my report. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Catherine.
Have a great day.
Next, Commissioner, press conference at 9:30.
Just waiting for.
And that, days after the fall, yeah.
We are in civilian, as I cover all regional certified around the county. Service and why you decided to move. All that good stuff, it won't take too long. Kind of an interesting story. Yes, that's kind of. Yeah, vision 2025.
No, we're pretty solid. That's the case. The gator just.
I'm not sure.
Fuel power, and they get all of it and then repair. So basically, Friday unloaded, so we're gonna work on that this week. So there's time for that.
Yeah, we should go for that. Okay, what's that got there? Yeah, and then we're good.
Supposed to be done. So you just have a little thing, and they'll what else? It's supposed to be face. I gotta go to the dentist tomorrow now. Shoot. They don't go right away. They want to.
Very well, there.
Yeah, it was, I was cold, a lot, I'm such a one, 6 feet low. Nurse if there's iron, it goes on somebody.
You were warm, huh?
I was gonna say, so you should go and dress up. Yeah, that's for it. Recognizing two of our outgoing planning board, Turner County Planning Board members. We have Diane Hubler, who will do first, and of course, Nathan Larson. Diane was with us for 14 years, including a year as chair. We appreciate all of her service and involvement in the board. And then she's also on our comprehensive plan committee. So we still have her, so we're very lucky. So. Yeah.
And, just appreciate all the work I know you've done over the years. And, like I said, we could let go of it completely. On the comprehensive plan. We can't let you go. Appreciate all the volunteer work that you did. Thank you.
Can you take a picture of all three of you? Here. Switch the other just a little bit more. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One final one, 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. Yep.
Official name file.
Oh, you haven't taken that down today. Yes, and right now I'm parked on the dining table working on our community park and so. I'll do that. Thank you. All right, we have Nathan Larson as well. He served for 2 terms, 6 years on the Riley County Planning Board. We appreciate all of his involvement as part of the group.
Yep, and again, Commissioners, we appreciate all the work you guys do volunteering for these meetings. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
That's you. As well. One, 2, 3, and one final one, 1, 2, 3. That's the better.
Yeah. There's a lot of that going around today. This was my only red tie. I wasn't wishing for.
Yeah.
I knew it's not Christmas, but my red tie, so I had to wear it.
When we're coming back to the Kansas City airport, gate going to Las Vegas, just come with everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody going out there. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you both. We really appreciate all your.
Yes, we appreciate the work. Yes.
Good morning, everyone. Rich Martin, Raleigh County Clerk. Want to remind everyone of the upcoming presidential preference primary that will be held on March 19th. Of course, on March 19th, the polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but we have a few deadlines prior to that and starting points prior to that. The voter registration books will close and advance. The last day to register a vote is February 20th, and that's also the last day for this election. It's atypical to most elections. Last day to request a ballot by mail is on February 20th. Advance voting in person, and when we send out those advance ballots by mail, that will be February 28th. So that is the first day that advance voting will be open. Same location, second floor of the courthouse office building. And then advanced voting by state law will close on March 18th at noon. And then, of course, as I said, the polls will be open 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Anyone has any questions, feel free to go out there to the Riley County website. It has a lot of information on elections, has our complete election calendar. You can also find out your polling place with a map to your polling place. And you can also call our office at 785-537-6300. Any questions? Okay, thank you. And you're gonna go back to the field, Larry?
Yeah. Mandatory break.
Is that Diane Coke?
So she's got a lot of coats.
Not enough hands.
Like all purpose, you can go first.
Yes. And you know, stay safe down. What he says.
There you go. That's good. Yeah, one's online. Catherine, she just had knee surgery, her second knee surgery, and then John, he's at a NACO meeting. He was on earlier. So they've both been attending via Zoom.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, Catherine's on Zoom there still. So, yeah, we are short-handed. Greg's running the county today by himself.
I got some stuff I'm gonna pass.
We should stay.
Maybe I'll sell it. We get a good price. We sell it.
No.
So you got heat out in your area?
You know, not last week, we haven't really seen anything, but whatever, they're.
Over there for a while. A lot of snow geese.
A lot later than they usually are.
Yeah. And it warmed up, you know, like last week, it was.
But at least there are some Canadians hanging around with them, this small group.
Yeah. I haven't got it at all. At all. Yes.
Oh, it doesn't, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's that one guy. It's like, leave some peace.
A lot of these stay on the river this time of year. He was kind of really big about it. We were there, they had a drone. They had a drone and he was flying the river, locating where they're at. You know, and maybe, you know, from the airboat. And it's just very complicated. I don't know, it's
Pretty
really.
high tech.
Real high tech.
I was gonna say the geese don't have a chance.
They're saying, no, it was a little bit, you know, it's small. And what is made is raised in bone and either very concerned, they're going to operate three different sites and they're not working like this.
That's what he said. On
That's nice. That's good.
That's
your one.
said there's one of the LAVTRs that I had heard of, somebody Senate Bill 332 said the LAVTR refunds would be sent directly from the state to taxpayers. I'm not sure how they would figure that.
How's that going?
I don't know. It doesn't make.
I wonder if that's it.
And he said it's a 50 million a year thing. That's right now, this formula would be 130. LIBTR would be 130 million. But this is 50 million a year sent directly, requires checks to be sent directly to taxpayers.
How does that operate the county's budget?
Yeah, it does.
It doesn't at all.
It makes that, yeah.
It will still depletes the budget. It gives them credit for having.
Yeah, it gives
done
them
something.
credit for it instead of, yeah,
And it doesn't solve the problem
no.
because you're still reducing.
And then there's a House bill. Properties, appraisers required appraisers to use comparable properties in the same subdivision or township as the property being appraised.
That works if they're there.
If there, and he said, if there's an exact house 5 miles away, it wouldn't be able to use. But,
Exact.
There's, if there's no sales within that area, what do you do?
That's probably the idea. So there aren't any come.
It's
Uh,
amazing the things they come up with.
Legislature up to more fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like this one is the appraisal, some house bill, but require them to use houses within the same subdivision or township for comps. So if there's no sales within that area.
That happened throughout the majority of the state of Kansas.
Especially, that's why they try to find the comps for my house, because my house doesn't look like any other house in the town. There's not that many. The houses out in the county would be sold even.
Which I understand their point. I mean, you should have comps to
Yeah.
similar housing, similarity. We could. For
And that's
example,
what
I had one done on my house years ago. I was so mad. One comp that was so low was closer to Topeka than to my house.
Well, the last one of my comps was from Wakefield. Last time, because that's the closest thing you could find to an old farmhouse. So. And even those that do sell, out in county, they're on a farm, they're sold at whole, you can't get it.
Now, those old stone houses are hard to find.
And old houses are just nothing.
I'm John. Ready for Clancy?
Oh.
Morning, commissioners.
I'm not keeping track of time.
Clancy Holman, Riley County Counselor. This project list updated for the last time you saw it. Scroll through here and find some recent. Some of those are related to a recent events deal and order signed, submitted and has been filed with the register of deeds. Provided by statute. And we have just finished actually, I've not done an entry because just finished this on Friday. Submitted our last brief on the First Christian Church in response to the Kelly's brief in cross appeal that was submitted by fax before the appeals. It's interesting. I think I mentioned the recent problems with the court system statewide. The incident that was described resulted in having to go to paper filings. It still affects the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court. You cannot get into them through eFlex. So you still have to do paper filings, or in this case, fax filings. I believe you can also.
People still have a fax. You still have a fax machine?
I don't know if we do. I'm told that's how we. I know we did. We filed it that way. Luckily, I have staff who knows how to do that. So got it done. Let's see here. Talk a little bit just informally about some legislative items. I haven't seen the most recent matters that we talked about just this morning, but we've got the interesting thing, most interesting thing, the most heartening thing is a version of Senate Bill 162, the abatement of nuisances in the unincorporated area, the one that's modeled on Sedgwick County, that passed out of committee favorably last Thursday out of the Senate local government with recommendation of approval. So had an amendment to it that added still direct, it's not statewide, at least in the current form. I'm not saying that'll change, who knows? But it's right now it's us and also Crawford County. They were added as an amending party, and there were some tweaks to the language that are acceptable. They just clarify what it does not apply to, which we did not have any objections or did not. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see what kind of fate it has as it moves forward in the process. But hopefully it will pass. Good. As written. That's currently written. Let me say that. Let's see. Let's see what else we have. We had, as usual, there are a number of, you'll see these issues about speaking with various department heads on items that have come up as part of what we do on a daily basis. We did get at one point, we did receive a statewide winter weather disaster declaration, which whenever I see those, any kind of disaster declaration, it always has a potential impact locally on what costs we can get back. And speaking with the director of emergency management, we didn't need to do anything this time. Didn't need to call a commissioner in to sign anything for a local declaration. Wasn't necessary. And often these will be a little bit vague in terms of what's discussed, because if I don't do that, then it's not a confidential communication. But some kind of means of communicating what we're doing, still worthwhile. We do have managed as another part of really the Keats project. We've got contract in place for environmental assessment. We had that was necessary in order to move forward with that project. And of course, today signed the contract for the purchase of property for the planned lagoon site for the community. It's very good. That does allow, with that in place, it means there does not need to be a domain because it's a voluntary negotiated purchase, as the board finds it. Parties have plenty of back and forth in order to write the contract, so it's a fair contract with us. Do you have questions on anything I discussed? Or if commissioners do, I'd be glad to try and answer those. All right. Thank you. That's all I have.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you, Kevin. I will see you later this month.
You did something?
I'll call you.
Oh, they're here. Out there. Oh, okay. Actually, it's a seat. Okay.
Since you served there.
Oh, okay.
So,
I think I saw something.
yeah, it's just so they can do their party review of the storm shelter, the units, but the
Oh, okay. All right.
scope is okay, I think.
All right. You didn't see anything in it? It's an issue. From your phone.
I just, I call it the works, but
Well, I got
I
it.
think it should be.
I got you. I got you. I shouldn't begin those kind of questions.
Yeah.
Aside from the cost.
Your flag is replaced
Oh, okay.
this morning.
Oh, right.
So next time I want to see Jerry up there hanging on the string, putting that thing
We
in.
need a picture, yeah, we need a picture of that.
And this is my copy?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I'd get a call.
When do you need an answer back on, John?
Like anything else, the sooner we can, the sooner they can, if in the permit, construction permit, will change on.
Okay, I'll get you an answer. My best to do so today.
John, I hadn't looked at it. Was it getting pretty ratty or?
I drove by it, but then I couldn't see high enough to see if it was or not. I didn't, I mean, wind wasn't blowing.
No.
I didn't ask him how bad it looked when he brought it down.
I'd look up Crawford County, Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh. Look, I kept saying, I kept thinking it was one of the southern ones on Winfield or one of those places. I didn't know where Crawford was.
Yeah. That's a good deal for them to be able to, they supported it early and talked about it, so. The committee had no problem adding, it. Good thing. And their experience, very similar to ours. They don't have problems with ag properties. It's
Yeah.
residential that they have problems. Somebody gave me an example. If you have a problem like that in the rural area, what eventually happens is the neighbor comes over with the appropriate equipment and burns stuff. How's it up and burns it? And if self-help government does not have. Does not want.
Hey, if John is still there, do you want to move his report up to, rather than at 10, move it up 10 minutes?
I'm fine with that. Yep, go ahead, John.
Mr. Ellerman?
I can do that. Good morning, commissioners. John Elman, Public Works with a monthly update. So Fancy Creek Bridge is on its way. Not complete, the pier. We just driving by for them. I mean, they were trying to pour concrete, but then it got too cold. And I kind of wouldn't let them.
Yeah.
Couple days I wouldn't let them, and then when I could, it was too muddy. So they've been driving pile, having some little bit of issues with pile driving. One must have hit something hard and bent the end of the pile, and it just took off the wrong direction. So they pulled it out and redid. And then we had a couple driving a little deeper than they expected. So working on pile, that's going, seems to be going okay though. Parallel road culvert is out Thursday. That is not the last. We have 2 more projects left on that.
That's February 15th.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah. Sorry. I even read it. I don't know how many times. The date, right? Marlite Road, I've sent the draft MOU and the contract we have with Fitness to get that, and the city still holding on to having their attorney and admin office looking at it. Parks Department, last few weeks and starting here soon is cleaning up landscape beds. We sent a few of them to an arborist school. That last end of that snow are in Colesville. They're getting ready to spray some pre-emergence in the landscape beds and around, help prevent weeds, and then the snow removal, of course, that we did. They did some floor cleaning and paint touch up at Keats. Operations crew, of course, in snow. Gravel crew has been out grading and rocking roads as they needed to patch up some small soft spots after the snows and ice. Bridge crews are doing small structure repairs and inspections and fixing up some of the bridges that are from our bridge inspection, fixing up some stuff we can fix up on those bridges. Alan's worried about getting the Sweet Creek culvert in. He's probably kind of pushing that off till spring. And at the same time, he's preparing bids for some more. Yeah. I think he's got 3 on the list from budget and 2 of them from this most recent sales tax projects that we can do with precast structure, which will help with our crews doing it and save a little bit of money to use on other projects. So.
Better get them done before April, because according to the fall, we're gonna get a lot of rain.
Well, they're probably not gonna get bids close enough to or quotes in before April. So. Or if we do, they won't be made that. He's saying that the prefab companies are ordering steel as they need it and not make, so they're not making a whole bunch of pieces and storing it.
Is it because it's real expensive right now or what?
I think steel got up so high that they kind of backed off.
Okay.
And other things. So yeah, they're making them as they need now instead of having a stockpile.
Huh.
Well, hopefully these are standard sizes, so the forms are there. We don't have to make forms too. Open positions, working on interviewing for custodial worker, traffic control tech. We're just not having any luck getting finding some employees that are people that were worth hiring, and then they fall through before they come or don't even come to the interview. I don't know what's going on there. That one's been open for quite a while. That really shouldn't have. I wouldn't think so. Don't know what the problem is, but we'll keep working.
I didn't really see that occur till the pandemic started, and that's when we started seeing that kind of activity for whatever position, people not showing up or accepting and then changing their mind. And, we never used to see a lot of that before that, but ever since then.
Sure are seeing more and more.
Mhm.
University Park lagoons. The Terracon report is, Terracon's finished their drilling. The report is not quite done yet, but I think we have some issues with the clay or the shale there being too coarse. So we're looking at with them to see what we can do different, move some from what we have to do to add. Their first thing was we couldn't add enough midnight to make it work. So that got kind of scary when they started saying that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what we can do. We may, if we can, I don't know, look at the thing we're talking back to Terra and see what their recommendations are or what they have. We can do different if we can haul dirt, add dirt, bring dirt in. We've got a big stockpile of dirt that come out of some other projects around that we may try to use. If I don't know if there's enough, but I think we're doing some testing on it ourselves to see kind of
It's the right stuff.
might help. I don't know. I hope, but we don't. The quarters I don't have anything new to add to the quarters. I've got a contract to do some third parties quality control work for the architects. They needed code requires third party review of their storm shelter design. So the one room we have in there for storm shelter needs to be designed or checked over by them. And I read through the contract and I've got Lancey getting ready to do that too, just to make sure there's nothing out of it that he doesn't like. So, election room, the workroom down here has been completed except for electrical has not yet.
Correct. Just those
waiting
one boxes.
for the drop boxes themselves to be brought in and installed. I'm hoping this week, if not next. So fourth floor, we had a pre-bid meeting on Friday, seemed to go pretty well. 3 bidders, maybe 4.
4.
Was that the guy on the end? I didn't know where he was from. I couldn't tell. So had 3 potential bidders to show up to that. It was mandatory, so those will be our bidders. Township meeting set for March 6th. Working on a Purple Wave sale item. We have the items, just getting through with Purple Wave set up with a contract to come to you with our list of items we want to sell. Evan and Clancy have been working on the water contract with University Park and Real Water. Like corridor projects of the city, and Evan's been putting together business specifications for scale replacement at the transfer station. And these are the scales under the hopper, where they load out scales.
Oh.
So when hands load their trucks, they're sitting on scales so they know that they're
How much they're all.
not too heavy, and then those are the scales we use to they build the building off of and pay them for. Otherwise, I don't think I have anything else. If you have some questions for me, that's all I have.
Not everything.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything. Do you have anything else? I think that's it.
Is that it? Okay, I would make a motion to adjourn the February 12th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners.
I'll second and move in second to adjourn the February 12th meeting. Wright County Commission, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Everyone have a good day.
Okay, you too.
I'm still on.
Oh,
Yeah, that's off.
Feel free to say. Sure. Yes.